right, and we're live.
Yes, we had to go live because we were having such a good discussion. We couldn't leave that unrecorded.
We couldn't. We're going to be talking about something very interesting that I've been thinking about. It's not mine, but I've definitely begged, borrowed, and then improvised. And I'm still improvising. I don't think I have fully thought through. So you're gonna hear something very raw today. It's not
Yes,
prepared at
but
all.
we
It's a new
but we
concept.
love stuff that comes straight from the heart. And we were discussing goals and all the different type of goals we have. One of my goals is to grow my natural nails longer. Maybe, your goal is to do profit, whatever it is. Goals are
Yeah.
so tricky.
So I think let's talk about that, right? So I think everyone has goals, either intentionally or unintentionally, either explicitly or implicitly. Everyone's trying to go somewhere.
Mhm.
It could be I want to have more fun. It could be I want to make more money. It could be I want to be a better husband, better parent. There's always that's human growth. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? So you're saying is I'm at a point, but I want to get to point B. Hopefully, point B is better than point A. Hopefully, right?
Mhm.
But otherwise, if it's not better than point B, you got to ask yourself why you're choosing point B. Pick a point C or whatever, right? But the problem in the goal setting is setting a goal is very easy or
Yes, it is.
relatively easy. Relatively easy. I mean, we see New Year comes in, resolutions come in, and all that stuff. So setting a goal is less cumbersome, although it may seem daunting for some people because it's the approach they pick, right? They are solving what's my purpose in life. If that's what you're trying to uncover, it's a bigger question and it needs a deeper thinking and it may take a longer process. But let's say you're trying to improve something in your business. I want to move my revenue from $1 million to $4 million,
I
whatever.
want to create a master class and get 70 people in it.
Exactly, whatever that is. You're starting at a current point, right? The problem mostly happens is most people pick a plan point B and they're very clear about what the point B is. Very clear. Because they have gone through some master classes, they have gone to some coaches, they have turned music on, they have brought emotions into it. What I've been told by likes of Tony Robbins and people like that, and I think I've said I've borrowed their stuff and repurposed it as well. They're not mine. So point B is good, but then yet the journey from point A to point B is not an easy journey for most people, right? A lot of people miss their goals and they have to realign the goal. What I've been thinking about is that we may be approaching it differently. We may be approaching it differently because while we're very clear about point A, point B, which is our goal, we may not be truthful about point A. We may be in a fanciful world. So we'll take example of a business because that's an easier example because we're not. It's a subjective conversation at that point. We're not passing judgment on anyone. So let's say you're making a revenue of $1 million. If you're making less, doesn't mean you should turn it off. It applies to you as well. So your current revenue is $1 million. You are thankful and grateful, but you want to hit $5 million, right? And you were thinking about, well, I'm at $1 million. I have X number of customers, and I have this is my USP, unique selling proposition. This is what differentiates me. So I'm very happy, but I need to go to now $4 million. I have to 4x my growth in how many number of months or years doesn't matter. Usually, what people would say is that either I need to launch a new product or I need to up my marketing funnels. I need to create my awareness campaign. They're going to say it's a marketing problem because I know I need to reach out to more people, right? Because I'm not reaching out to more people. So they go and say that I'm going to hire somebody, digital marketing person, who's going to do this all for me. And what I'm telling you, I've gone through all of that process, right? It's not something that I have not gone through as well. I have gone through similar discussions. Like it's a marketing problem. Not many people are listening to me. People aren't aware of what I'm doing. But truth of the matter is the assumption that whatever you're working today is fully optimized. Is that true? Right? Is your point A true point A? So unless you answer that question, you can't figure out how to get to point B, right? Which is going to be, well, I am attracting 1,000 people, but I'm only converting 1% of that. right? So is it really an increasing of the top of the funnel marketing problem, or now it becomes a problem of, well, either you're not attracting the right people already. So instead of boosting more viewership or more awareness, you're now thinking, I need to fine tune my existing awareness to make sure that I'm reaching the right audience, right?
And that
You know,
that conversion is there, because conversion is a
conversion,
huge piece of the
right?
puzzle.
And if you're not talking to the right audience, how would you convert them? So, for example, if we are asking for investment in our opportunities and we're talking to people who are debt laden, they don't have money to eat food, and we're asking them invest $50,000 in our opportunities, while they may be able to, and while they need help, they don't. Their current situation doesn't allow it, right?
Mm.
Because they don't have they are so much in debt right now that they need to first get out of the debt before thinking about investing. But if all we were if our target if our messaging was essentially reaching that audience, no wonder we're only converting at 1% or maybe less than 1%, because we're sending the messaging to the wrong audience, right? So
Correct.
it could be fine tuning that audience, and through that fine tuning, without doing a whole lot of work, you're just shifting your approach a little bit. You may be able to get to formula much faster, right? So where I was going with this entire thing is, it's really like I'm going to use this for those of you who are watching it online. I'm going to use this pen and pencil for a second. Just bear with me. There's a reason for that. So let's assume this pen on the bottom horizontal line is essentially your current path of trajectory to $1 million revenue in our example. Now you want to say that I want to take a pivot and I want to go to point B here, which is $4 million revenue, right? So there's two ways to look at it. You could look at the gap here at the ends. That gap is very big.
Right.
This is the gap where if you focus on this gap, you're going to be saying, I need to hire a PR person. I need to hire a digital marketing person. I need to go
And that gap can
SEO.
feel extremely overwhelming.
Extremely overwhelming, right? However, there is another end to look at, which is this side. If you look at this side, this gap is not that high, right? Which could essentially mean that you're thinking your point A is here, your point A could be right here, right?
Mhm.
Because you needed to optimize your current marketing engine. If you did, you didn't have to hire a PR person. You didn't have to hire. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't hire. I'm saying if you're not truthful about your point A, your initial approach is going to be the noise that you hear on YouTube, which is awareness, 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 marketing, 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 performance marketing, buyer audience is going to be all on that end. And you may need it. I'm not saying you don't, right? So don't take it as a gospel. But what I'm saying is, if you're not being truthful about your point A and the efforts that are getting you point A, the journey towards point B could be could be a very killer journey. And you may
Mhm.
still not get to point B, right? Because you're not aligning yourself properly to what you need to where you need to go. So what we need to focus is, in this example, we need to focus, where is this point, this lowest touch point where the gap is very small. Can you somehow fix that gap? Because if you're able to fix that gap, you just brought that entire B towards you. You don't have to go travel to point B. You just brought the point B towards you. See, I think the paradigm shift, when I was thinking about it, this occurred to me, or this came to me. I'm sure I was listening to something where I'm like, you know what? This is actually a very interesting way of looking at anything we want to achieve in life. Not just business. Business is just an example because it's more quantifiable. Like in my case, if I want to lose weight, I'm like, I know how to lose weight. The technique is not new. Eat less, work out more, pay attention to what you're doing, and keep moving. Right? It's simple. There's no harder science than that, and yet 47% of Americans are obese. Why is that? I think the reason for that is as we're focusing on the journey from A to B, we're focusing. The problem is, I don't know how to work out. I don't know how to cook. I don't have time to cook. The problem, we're focusing on, what more do I need? Do I need a PR person? Do I need a digital marketing person? Do I need a CFO? Whatever the solution is, What more can I get, and can something outside solve my current problems? Right?
Correct.
That's what we're doing. Instead, if you take the accountability of, well, how do I bring it down? And if you spoke, I don't have a solution. I would have shared this. This literally came to me yesterday, so I'm still developing this whole thing. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, if I want to lose weight,
We're all developing it together.
correct. So if I do want to lose weight, right? Not if I do, how can I use this principle to make it less daunting, right? To make it less daunting, because intellectually, most people know how to lose weight. Most people. You must be living under a rock if you don't know how to lose weight at this point, especially with the social media bombarding it. So, but then why are people not doing it? So the problem is your point A. You're not being honest about your journey of point A. So once we're honest about the journey of a point A, I think the journey of whatever we want to accomplish is going to be much more frictionless. Right? There's going to be less friction on it. It's going to be smoother, and you're going to be enjoying that journey instead of suffering that journey. Now, excuse me. That doesn't mean the journey is going to be easy. It's
No,
just journey is going to be enjoyable, right? Any journey, if you're trying to have a breakthrough, is going to be hard. But it's how enjoyable that journey is versus are you being dragged in that journey. That's it. We're
I
all going
think
to get
there's a
dragged.
huge difference between my life is horrible, I'm on this journey, it's terrible, I don't know where I'm going, and I understand that this is going to be hard on me, but I also understand that it's possible. Those are two very different
Yeah,
energies.
completely. I think that's really what I wanted to share with the
Mhm.
audience today, because I'm like, this to me, when again, this is not mine. I'm pretty sure I've borrowed it from somebody. I don't even know who to give credit to. But whoever is listening, this is not mine. If it was yours, take the credit, because it's not important where it came from. It didn't come from me for sure. It's important how we can implement it, right?
Mhm.
If people can implement it and they can bridge the gap from A to B, I think it's very important to focus on that journey and make it better. Hopefully that path is the gap. If you focus on the tail end of the starting journey, the shift that you have to make is very little,
Right.
right? Versus if you wait till the end, that is a huge gap.
It's a huge gap, and then two, it comes in when you know that the gap is smaller versus the gap is larger. If the gap feels completely insurmountable, like it will never happen in your lifetime, you're going
Yeah,
to approach that with a sullen attitude, with a defeated attitude, feeling like it's never going to happen for you.
100%.
Versus the smaller gap where it's like this kind of is not the greatest sometimes, but
Correct.
I know that this can happen, and I know that this is realistic, and I know that this is possible. Those are two very different things. How did you go into closing? Is there an example or a time where you closed the gap yourself? And can you share that?
I think like anyone else, I think everyone has closed the gap in their life because we won't be there. People won't be listening to these conversations if they haven't achieved something in their life, right?
Right.
So I think everyone has achieved it. Where I can think about it, I'll shift that question a little bit. I think it's more important for how I think I'm going to be implementing this new approach. And for me,
Mhm.
the biggest advantage is, I think we've shared with the audience as well. I'm looking to buy a construction business, right? The question I would have asked is, what can I do to improve the business outside of the business, right?
Right.
That's how I would have approached it before. I think what I'm thinking now is that I'm going to ask a very different question. And I don't know what question I'm going to ask yet. So I'm thinking out loud. Is going to be more around what is available. Is the business currently running at its optimal capacity? Instead of
Mhm.
opening a new division, instead of
Right.
doing something else, instead of bringing in new talent, do we have it? Is there any? Are there any leaks in the business? It could be revenue, it could be people, it could be resources. Doesn't matter. Are there any leaks that we need to stop before we grow? Right.
Mhm.
I have full confidence we'll grow the business, but the goal is now is, hey, let's get our point A correct. Right. Let's be honest about our point A. Where are we optimally? Are we running optimally? Or are we not running optimally? So before focusing on the revenue growth, let's make sure we have plugged all the holes, because then we can grow at a rocket speed because we don't have any leaks, right? Because it doesn't matter if I have a $4 million revenue or $8 million revenue. If I have leaks in the leaks, the bottom line is going to be much lesser to begin with.
Oh yeah, leaks will drain your money.
It will drain your money, right?
And that can be in a solopreneur business. That can be in any sort of company.
Any
So it could be an
business,
energetic leak. It could be a mindset leak. It could be a time management leak. There
100%,
are so many
100%.
options.
Like we were thinking of doing it the way that an owner would do it, not a business operator, right? I could easily roll my sleeves up in the business, but this is the opportunity to do it right?
Right.
Because not many people have the opportunity to acquire a very successful running business. So how can we make it better in a way that we're working on the business and not in the business?
Correct. And
I
that's a
was
humongous distinction.
I'm an A student, right? I've always been an A student. But that doesn't mean we have to be an A student in the business, right? We have to be an A student in the business in the role that is required in the business. So if you're a CEO, if you're a solopreneur, the question I would say to you is, who can you bring into the team who can relieve you of doing day-to-day business?
Right.
Because the more you do day to day, the less you grow your business, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and again, I suffer from the same problems, right? I'm no unique person. Sometimes I think I'm the only one in the world who can do this right. Which, while it may be true, I don't think it's true, but if it may be true, but the
Oh, I
question
definitely
is,
think that's true.
yeah, there you go. So I think that then you got to
I'll convict
ask,
myself. I think that I'm absolutely the best at about five different tasks.
of course, but and you may be. There's no doubt about that you may be. But if you are doing those five tasks, who is doing the sixth, seventh, and eighth? You're not, right? And that's the question everyone has to ask yourself. To go from point A to point B, you may be able to hire somebody as a PR person, but if you don't have, or a digital marketing person, and I'm using marketing as an example because that's very fresh in my head.
Because that's his pain point as
That's
well.
my
So
pain point, right? I'm
he's gonna
like,
convict himself here.
that's the biggest pain point that I have. I'm like, I don't have enough marketing. No, no, no. It's not the marketing. It's that, are you using your time and your resources the right way? Even if you bring in a marketing person, if the approach is, I'm the only person who can do it right, you would now want to learn marketing, right? Or you would learn PR, or you would learn writing, or whatever the skills you don't have. If that's the only approach you're aware of, the problem is you're just buying yourself a job. You're not buying yourself a business. The
Hmm.
goal for my fellow entrepreneurs, either you're starting out or you have a good revenue, good run rate already. The question you have to ask yourselves is who, not how, as Dan Sullivan says, is who do you need to bring in to help you? But even before that, I would say the question you want to ask is, are you being honest about your point A?
Right.
Right? You've spent a lot of time in point B. There's a lot of people who make a lot of money in helping you set your goal. It's like a complete industry in itself. So I have no doubt your point B is very clear. No doubt. But what about point A? There's very little effort put on point A, right? And
Mhm.
that's where I think a lot of the goals either become unachievable, or the goal becomes, when you achieve the goal, it's not satisfactory,
Right.
right? So what you want to do is, as long as you're honest about your point A, point B could be go reach Mars. Doesn't matter whatever the point B is. At least that journey is going to be enjoyable because you know the levers are being pushed, the right levers are being pushed for the right things. That's
And
really what
you're
I would
honest
say.
about the resources and the assets you have, whether that's financial or
Right.
emotional or spiritual, whatever that is. Being honest is so important when you're trying to reach your goal because you want to take an inventory of the things you have on your side.
Correct,
And
correct,
if you
correct.
can't be honest with yourself, you're not starting from a good place.
Yeah, so my daughters, it's funny, every conversation I have to bring my daughters in because they are my biggest teachers. This morning we had a little bit of rough patch
Oh
because
no.
we had some arguments back and forth. And my younger one, it's always my older one and I think we have the same temperament. So younger one said that, but you got 6 hours when we're out of school. Why don't you finish everything at that point? Why are you telling us you don't have time? I'm like, that's true.
That is arguably true.
6 hours is a long time. So now my point A was I don't have enough time, right? That's how I was starting out. With this new frame of reference, I'm like, am I being honest about my frame of reference?
Right.
I was
And
not
where those
being
6
honest.
hours are going.
Where have I accounted for those 6 hours? Right now, everyone's a human being. Not everyone's gonna work every single minute of 6 hours. But am I optimizing it, or am I watching binge watching YouTube Shorts?
Yeah,
Right?
that's a
Told
good
you.
question. Hey, my stuff is different, but it's like, it's convicting me a little too. Now, YouTube Shorts doesn't get me, but something else does.
So I think that's where these conversations are important. So what I would say is that if I didn't have that frame of reference in my mind,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have thought the way she was talking to me about it. I'm like, I wouldn't have connected about this point A and point B, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm telling them I don't have time, so I need their help. But she's holding me accountable. Yes, you got 6 hours. What do you do in those 6 hours?
She'll make
I'm
you do
like,
a time log.
she may want to. That's going to be a problem because now I'm going to be naked, and I know I'm not using my time well, right?
And
Every
she's going to be
single
like,
minute.
oh, well, I see some places you could be more optimal, but you're right in saying they are going to teach you and they're going to
Yeah,
challenge you. And you can have people that do that for yourself, whether it's your spouse or your children or your best friend, but you can be that for you too.
correct,
Just
correct,
depending
correct.
upon how you work. For me, I do the best with internal accountability. Some people do better with external. It's knowing and being honest. Here's how I need accountability to get to that goal.
And I would say most people do better with outside accountability. And here's
Correct.
why:
It's very,
you
very rare to be
you
an
can't
internal.
you can't smell your own breath,
Yeah,
right? Your mouth may be stinking, but you can't smell it because you're too close to it, right?
correct.
So you need somebody else to tell you your mouth stinking. You got to go brush, right?
Mhm.
And that
Yeah,
person is
99, 95% of people are not internal
they're
accountability
not.
partners for
They're
themselves. That's
not. So
extremely rare.
to go find an accountability partner, I think one
Yeah.
actionable insight is two actionable insights I would say from this conversation. One is figure out your point A. You have focused enough on point B. Enough, right?
Mhm.
So stop there. Whatever point B is at this point, let's just nail it. That this is my point B for the next few months. Focus on point A. Give a little bit more attention to point A.
Mhm.
You will see that your point B is going to come closer to you because you're being honest with yourself, right? And that's where you got to bring somebody, a coach, a mentor, a friend, a spouse, a parent, a child, whoever that needs to be. But have somebody else hold you accountable. That are you being truthful in your point A? They're going to
Mhm.
tell you you're not because most of us are not. We don't even know where to begin about for point A, right? Dreaming of a point B is easy, but being realistic about point A is harder. It's a little bit
Much
tough
harder.
work, right? So I would say that again, I am available as a resource. Feel free to set up a call with me. Um, if you have other resources, use them. But goal is to help you find your point A and being clear about point A,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that
And
we.
what's the second insight you wanted to share? Because I know you had two.
I think the second insight is going to be more accountability partner, right?
Mhm.
Even if you don't know, you don't have to wait to get to point A. You need to make sure you have somebody, third party, who's not emotionally attached to you.
Yeah, they got to be neutral.
You got to be neutral, right? And you have to respect them enough to listen to them, right? If you do, let's say if your child is an accountability partner, but your feeling is, what do they know? Don't.
You can't be triggered by your accountability partner. It's
Correct.
never going
You
to work.
cannot. That's why spouses are the worst accountability partners, because most of us don't take them for granted, right? I'm not saying they're
Mhm.
not. Most relationships, at least the ones that I have either watched or been in, you don't respect the people who are closest to you because we take them for granted, right? And our triggers are very close. They know our triggers, and they get under your skin. You don't want all of that stuff, right? You don't want all of that noise. This is not about how to make you a better relationship person. This is about how to make you better with your goals.
Mhm.
If your spouse is not working, find a friend. If your friend's not working, hire a coach. If that's not working, join a mastermind. Doesn't matter. The
Mhm.
goal
There's
is
a fit
to,
out there for everyone. You
there
just have to
is,
be brave enough to look for it.
correct. So those are two actionable insights. I think, Brooke, I would say, is that find your A, don't find your North Star because the North Star is going to be changing. Don't focus on point B, focus on point A, and find
Yeah.
an accountability partner.
Well, and I think the third insight is book a call with you. right?
Definitely. Yeah.
You love to talk, you love to hear where people are, what they're up to, and sometimes, I know for me in particular, it's hard to look objectively at your situation sometimes and nail your point A. And
Correct.
so verbally speaking that to someone in a non-judgmental, safe and open space is huge. And you can
Yeah.
be that for so many people.
Completely, completely. And please use that as a resource. At least get that 30-minute, right? It's
Yeah.
free. There shouldn't be a reason why not having a call. There's no sale, right? I'm not a hard sale guy, anyways. I don't have anything to offer you except my time. That's what I'm offering you right now. And if I can help you in your journey, great. If I can't, great too. We'll still be friends. No issues there. So I would say that do yourself a favor. If not me, find somebody else. And if it's me, get on the calendar. Don't wait.
Get on the calendar and have fun.
Have fun is
Bring
important.
bring all of your insights over the past 6 weeks and have him answer all of them. Have a really good time.
I will love that. And if you have, again, in my frameworks, I'm always learning new frameworks because I think that people's brain need to think differently.
And
So
if
if you
you
have
have a
another
way to
framework,
challenge him,
well,
you
that's even
can
better.
bring that as well.
Even better. Well, I really hope some of you, if not all of you, take advantage of it. Have a call. I love hearing from people. If nothing else, will be I'll make a new good friend in you, and hopefully you'll find a friend in me as well.
Yeah.
So I'd really look forward to hopefully getting some of you on the call.
Oh, he's going with his Toy Story references here. You've got a friend in him.
There
I
you
don't know
go.
if that was intentional or unintentional, but we're going to go with it. We've had a fun conversation today. I loved where it went. You got into your teacher moments, which was fabulous. And like he said, hop on his calendar, challenge him, have fun, have a play with it. And we're so excited that you joined us for another sit down with Saket.
Take care, everyone. Thank